that little baby talk. And then after a few minutes, I was feeding the girls. And after a few minutes, I'm like, oh my God, he's having a conversation. And so I tap into my son, who's tapped into the spirit that I didn't even notice in the corner of the room. And they're having a full-blown conversation about myself and my husband and what we're worried about and how foolish it was. So it was very, very interesting. And since then, I've worked with a lot of kids that come in wide open. And, where I feel the strongest pull is to help the children that don't know what's happening to them and their parents don't know. And so there's a lot of fear. I worked with this one girl. She was 13 years old, single dad. The dad was amazing. The dad found me. I don't even know how he found me. And he said, you have to help my daughter. All these dead people come to her and she's just exhausted and wilting away, and I want her to have a normal childhood. And so I worked with her to teach her energetic boundaries and that she gets to choose to do this work, and she didn't want to not help. So deceased people that hadn't crossed over would find her because she could help them cross over. So I taught her how to create these boundaries and say, okay, you have 2 days that you're open after school from 3 to 5. And you put that in the energy. And it's almost like you have office hours. You sit in this chair and you say, okay, whoever needs to cross over, come now and I'll help you. And at 5 o'clock, you close up shop and you say, I'll be back on Thursday. And what that allowed her to do was to understand that she still had a life here to live, and she could go and be on the soccer team and have as normal of an upbringing and know that she was incredibly gifted to help people cross over. So more and more I see children like that coming in from very early on. And yes, I think they come in with the crystalline energy, and they have that connection to spirit that doesn't close down over time. Like, I believe all of us came into the world with that connection to spirit, but because it was never fostered, and what was fostered was all the physical stuff, we lose our connection. And now I see it doesn't even matter if these children have that fostered. They're open and they're connected and they are powerful.
What a beautiful message. I love you've covered so much in all of that sharing with us that, yeah, we have contracts, but you know what? We're in charge of all of it. And it's learning the dialogue to communicate back in with your guides, with your soul, and moving forward, and that everything is free will. Everything
we've
has
always
choice.
said that you come in with a contract with invisible ink. In other words, you can change it and you can move on. And sometimes those contracts are self-imposed and they're not real contracts,
and
as you know.
I love that you're helping people navigate through that. So if there's any kind of advice that you'd want to share to people at this point in time, particularly as we're moving through COVID and some are on restrictions and some are slowly coming out of it, is there anything you want to share as a message for people?
I think there's several things. And the first, I think that's most important is to find your joy, that this life, this physical life may feel long in the day, but overall it's pretty quick. Like, we go through it pretty fast. And that if soul wants us to be here and have a joyful, happy life. And so go after that. Like, don't hold yourself to these false beliefs or constraints. I know for many, COVID was really, really difficult, but for many others, COVID was a gift. It was powerful. Things opened, things emerged, paradigms shifted, structures broke down, which created more freedom. And so every moment of every day, we get to choose how we're going to respond to what is in front of us. The second thing I would say that's super important is don't become powerless, because that's where we lose our connection. When we believe we have no power, when we believe life is happening to us, that's when people fall into deep depressions or don't feel like there's a way out.
Yeah. Right.
There's always a way. And if you can remember that and keep going back and connecting, and you can do it in little bits. Like people think to go on a spiritual journey is going to take decades. No, to go on a spiritual journey can take you 5 minutes a day. Literally 5 minutes a day if your intention is clear that you want to connect in with your higher knowing. You don't even have to say soul or spirit or God or whatever, just with your higher knowing. And if that's your intention day after day, what you're going to notice is that after many days, things will start flowing to you. Things will be created for you. The support that you wish for will come for you. It's so funny. My sister just started working with me, and I have some powerhouses working with me right now, doing some amazing work. And my sister asked me, so how much do you pay this person? I said, oh, no, this is her passion project. She's doing it for free. What? And then she'll say, how much do you pay this person? And I say, oh, nothing. Like they're doing it. They're volunteering their time. And she's like, why? And I said, because this work in their lives have created such an impact that they want to help support me getting this out to others. But let me tell you, one of my intentions is like the universe gave me a big platform and a big goal, like to help heal over millions of people. And I can't do that by myself. And so my intention is to ask for support every day. And people show up and they support me. Oh. And my sister goes, that's crazy. And I said, no, that's the universe helping me to do the work.
This is exactly what we teach. We teach this very thing. Marianne, how can people find you? What's the best way?
The best way is to go to mariannerobot.com, or you can reach me at info@cflh.com. And we are in the conversion of, for 7 years, we've been known under the Center for Lifelong Happiness. The name happiness came from when we surveyed all our clients. We were asking them what was the one or two things they got. 90% of the participants said, I'm living a much happier life. And so we're like, oh, we should coin that. But actually now we're going back to my name. So it's going to be mariannerobot.com. There'll be a new website. But if you Google Center for Lifelong Happiness, you'll be redirected there as well. Wonderful. And we have a lot of programs for anyone on their journey. If you're just beginning, if you're an awakener and you're just learning, or if you're very progressed, there are programs there for you as well.
I love it. I love it all. Thank you so much. And we are out of time. And I wish we weren't, but we were. But people get a really taste. This is what this half hour is about, yes. In the interview. They get a taste, so you can go on if you wish to past this and go to those places and find a lot more. And that's exactly what we're doing here.
I love you, Marianne. I love your message. I love your shining light and an example of teaching us how we can create our most enlightened life. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I so enjoyed being here with you all today.
Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Wow. Well,
we have a 10-minute break coming up, and we will return with a circle of 12. We'll see you then.